Hello again, this is Koji, and in this video I want to show you what's going on right now. This is the new moon chart just of a couple days ago. New moon charts are the foundation for a 4-week period, and sun and moon are exactly at the same spot, and that is the global chart here. If you listened to my earlier video, which I just published on the American nation's progressions, on the zooming in on what's really happening at the hub of all that change, the United States being the leading force to liberate this planet. Thank you so much, all you living in the United States, that great nation, for trailing that path, for blazing the trail, I should say. I guess that's the way to say it. Sometimes my English is not as good as it should be. Naturally, it's not my mother tongue, as I guess it's easily recognizable. Anyway, the long and short, I was just talking about Orcas and Nessus in my earlier video. And this is the heliocentric picture. I was mentioning that Nessus, the pathological, difficult energy we're seeing everywhere flaring up right now, and I showed you why, because it's in the progressions exactly on the American nation's descendant, so it's very much in our face right now. That energy has to be transmuted, has to be looked at, brought into the light, and shifted and changed and remodeled. We have to take the raw form of it and turn the lower metal into gold. That's the whole process we are working on globally. Today, the 19th of September, these two are in exact opposition heliocentrically. So let me just go back a couple days, because there has been so much happening in the last week alone. This is such a momentous time, so many things on multiple levels in our personal lives and collectively, and you name it. It's just very tumultuous, but also very promising. So Pholus is, let me just explain you first something about Pholus, because Pholus is a key character too right now. If we just go back to the American chart, let's just see where Pholus is here. Pholus is at 658 Aquarius, exactly at the south node. The south node is our assets, but also it is the spot which is holding us back potentially. So it's like it is when we have accomplished something, then the dangers is we just start, or we are stopping there and just resting and indulging in that energy, because now we have accomplished it. That's kind of the south node's energy. So it's always good to see this as a base to evolve from. Now Pholus as such, therefore, is a key quality of the American nation. There's deep wisdom and intensity in this character, and Pholus always shows up at turning points. So that might be one of the reasons the American nation has always shifted into new directions, was open to turn and go with the times, and most of all right now in this transition into a whole new area, the Golden Age, we see this force strongly accentuated. Life-changing circumstances. So I have here a little quote by Nick Fiorenza, one of the researchers. He says, Pholus may help to lead us from the conforming bounds and limitations of our past, to make the radical changes in our lives, to pierce the veils obscuring our more transcendent soul purpose, and to awaken to our unique purpose and live it. Conversely, Pholus may also help us to then ground and concretize that purpose in the world. Pholus would seem to help us refine our sense of responsibility to one living true to soul's oath. Upon this journey, guided by Pholus, we may also confront the fear and loneliness encountered when leaving the apparent safety of our past, established karmic patterns, and choosing to live true, to live our uniqueness in the world. So Quaoar was named after a North American creator god. It impels transformation, prompts surrender to life's natural order, and to return to its sacredness. That's another quote by Fiorenza. John Dunn, another researcher, found Quaoar to resonate with demanding and trying experiences. Being placed under a microscope, paying attention to less attractive aspects, flaws, or complexities. Also questioning, constructing, clarifying, revealing, creating abstract mental models, a spirit of discovery, and the big picture. So that's why Pholus is so powerful right now. Well, I should say otherwise, the reason why this is, okay, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days ago, Pholus turned direct. That's what ST means, stationary direct. That is when a planet as seen from Earth, due to Earth's motion, is coming to a standstill and starting to move direct again. It's like when you're on a highway, all cars moving the same direction, but if you're on the second lane and you're moving faster, then the other car seems to move backwards. And if you're slowing down, then the other car moves faster again. So that's that waving pattern we see with all the celestial bodies. It always is relative to Earth's motion. So as Earth takes 1 year to circle around the Sun, these are yearly rhythms. For example, a planet far away like Pholus is moving backwards for about a 4-month period, and then when you could think we are here at the center. This is Earth. That's actually the symbol of Earth, which is projected to the opposite side of the Sun, because we see the Sun in this place in the sky. That means we are over here. So when Earth is in the same area as Pholus, the planet in question, then Earth moves faster. Pholus appears to be moving backwards. And when Earth moves out of that window, then all of a sudden these planets start moving forward again. So these are very important moments when a planet changes direction. It's like looking inside, looking outside. That's kind of in a simple way said. So Pholus has been looking inside, so to say, for the last 4 or 5 months, and now is shifting its focus again to the outside. And this is the chart for the exact moment of standstill, the 0 point. 0 points is, they are seed points. They define the energy of that whole coming phase we are getting into, that period. So you see, I mean, astrology is an extremely complex science, and it is a science, when it's done properly, it can yield enormous results, very exact predictions, deep understanding psychologically of where we are, who we are, and the whole unfolding of our reality around us. So Pholus was exactly in zenith position, well, just a little bit off, 2-3 minutes prior, it was exactly in mid day position over Greenwich, the global chart. And you see there's this conjunction of Pholus and Quaoar. I mentioned Quaoar in my other video just shortly. Quaoar is a creation god. So the long and short, I wrote a Facebook post about that. And again, I would like to invite you guys to join Facebook group Celestial Rhythms. The link is under this video, where I regularly post updates on important and critical and powerful alignments. I'm not always following up with doing YouTube videos. So you get a more steady flow of information if you tune in there. That's all I want to say here. So Pholus turned direct on the 15th. Also Quaoar turned direct on the 15th within hours. I wrote about that on my Facebook page. Now this is the same chart for Washington DC, and I just shortly want to show you through a few charts here. I don't want to go too deep into them, but just give you a little energetic breakdown of the complexity and the power which is building up behind the scenes, because these are all building blocks, and if we add them all together, this is creating that waterfall and quantum leap energy, which is consisting of thousands of different individual ingredients. It's like a magic brew, and this is one critical ingredient in that magic brew. That's maybe a way to see it. So that is the moment when Pholus turned direct, and you see in Washington Mercury was exactly in midheaven together with Elatus or Elatus. Elatus is a centaur, very articulate, able to formulate and to put in language what is happening. So this is very promising in a way that there's many people out there able to explain what's happening to all those who still have been enveloped in that dark cloud of deception and of programming and of you name it. I mentioned Pholus in my earlier video too. Pholus exactly at the north node, the evolutionary direction of humanity right now. Pholus, just to recap quickly, is a seer prophet, very secretive, attracted to hidden agendas and mysteries and riddles. Here comes in Q, the whole attraction, which is growing just, I guess we can say, exponentially all through the population all over the globe. Q, that mysterious phenomenon of telling us what's happening and what is going to happen. That secret voice, nobody really knows who it is. Pholus has that phi resonance, is resonating with the golden means, the most perfect relation per proportion in reality. All nature is following that phi resonance, also known as the Fibonacci sequence. So it's that ability to perceive underlying order and harmony, and that is one other really big keystone in what is going on right now. So this is right at the 7th house cusp. So you see, this is a powerful, powerful chart. This next 7 months of Pholus forward motion. Pholus is here in this chart at 1 degree 10 in Capricorn. I should say a few more things, because Quaoar is really the other force which is perfectly lined up with Pholus for many, many years. I did a little research on that. So maybe first let's talk about Quaoar for a moment. Named after a North American creator god, impels transformation, prompts surrender to life's natural order and the return to its sacredness. That's again Nick A. Fiorenza, one of the researchers, astrologers. John Donne found Quaoar to resonate with demanding and trying experiences, being placed under a microscope, paying attention to less attractive aspects, flaws, or complexities. Also questioning, constructing, clarifying, revealing, creating abstract mental models, spirit of discovery, the big picture. I guess in my earlier video I just realized I did not say this is Quaoar I'm talking about. So in my other video I made a little error there. So this is Quaoar's meaning versus Pholus, who helps us recognize the purpose, who is there to shift our energies and allow us to jump on openings and go forward with the transformation. It's that life-changing circumstances. I guess these are really keywords. Now, Pholus and Quaoar will have 18 exact conjunctions between 2022 and 2030. So this is a long process we're just getting into. And actually from heliocentric perspective, they won't exactly come to the same degree before 2061. Okay. Sit with that for a few seconds. That's more than 40 years down the road. So that's for how long these two forces, Quaoar and Pholus, are in close contact, helping each other to seed a new energy into this dimension, joining their efforts, helping us through this most radical transition, this mother of all turning points in a big way, seen into the golden age with all these boundless opportunities, becoming a starfaring nation, getting into abundance and enjoyment, creativity, everybody able to do and explore into what they would like to do, that boundless opportunities, redesigning, reshaping, recreating our reality. All those words are very much resonating with that whole coming 50 years, I would say, into the late 2060s. So this is powerful, powerful stuff. Now it so happens that these two changed their direction on the 15th on Facebook, in my Celestial Rhythms group where I post regularly. I mentioned that this was that window when Jupiter and Arrokoth were moving toward each other. Jupiter changed direction on the 12th of September. Now Jupiter, if you look at this chart, is here. Okay, 1725. And that's where Arrokoth is, 1725. So Jupiter was going backwards in step with Arrokoth for many months. Arrokoth still goes backward, moves still that way. Jupiter has been going backward till the 12th and has then changed direction going forward. Jupiter and Arrokoth had a conjunction, it was the 4th of September, I'm pretty sure with that. That was their second one, when they both were moving backwards. And since the 12th, they were within minutes of arc, very close. So that's why this whole time, this whole month, these whole months have been so mind-blowing in many ways, of revealing secrets and mysteries and allowing us to see the bigger picture. You just have really to toggle a few keys on your keyboard and all the hidden secrets are popping up in front of you. You just have to do a very little effort on your side, and everything, the whole universe opens up before you. That's these present times we are in. They're so precious, so valuable. Sure, you have to make you come to your own discernment. You have to know where to look. You have to know whom to listen to and whom not to listen to. So it is, everything is at our fingertips, and this even has been accelerated in that short window between the 12th and the 16th of September, when these two were truly merging, melting with each other. Jupiter going forward, Arrokoth still going backward, and on the 16th. And again, that is that 4-day window, which I pointed out as to be a critical, powerful window of core melt. I mentioned it, of really all the things coming together in place. It might not be fully visible to many people, but this has been setting something in motion, and that is that window where Pholus and Quaoar both went into direct motion. I'm just going back here quickly to this chart once more to point one more thing out, and I will choose the chart for Washington, which is the moon. At that moment when Pholus changed direction, moon was at 2954 Leo. Those of you who are familiar with President Trump's chart will know his ascendant is 2955 Leo. Okay, guess that says a lot. He's totally in tune with what's going on. He's kind of, I mean, yeah, not even so much behind the scenes. He is really the one who's at the buttons, who knows exactly when to play which card. He's definitely having his time of his life. I guess it's just the next few weeks will be so glorious, will be so wonderful for him finally to be able to come into that place where so many more people will realize who he truly is. What an amazing gift he is for our planet, that he was really the trailblazer, the one to go first. Anyway, I just wanted to point this out. This is kind of an amazing synchronicity in itself. So, okay, this was Jupiter and Arrokoth's conjunction in Greenwich. That third and final conjunction, it will take another 13 years or so till the two are again in the same place. Jupiter at 1725 Capricorn. It will take Jupiter one full round to come back here, and by then probably Arrokoth will be somewhere in the late degrees of Capricorn, as Arrokoth takes, I guess, something like 300 years to once move around the zodiac, very slow moving, versus Jupiter 12 years for one revolution around the sun. So this was the chart for Greenwich, and there's one other planetary pair which I have been referring to already in several of my earlier videos, which is Makemake and Salacia. Another pair of newly discovered planets in the last 2 decades, small minor planets. Makemake, another creation force, actually one which is very much into physically manifesting new ideas, making them into tangible and real objects. Salacia is connected to the word salacious. However, there's many levels to that. I mean, on a very low level, this could be the energy it could express as, but on a more transformed and higher expression, Salacia is what we enjoy doing, something which is pulling us to engage in, and it is interesting that Chiron is here too, so that whole transformation we're going through right now, it's really carried through by so many individuals who are enjoying that ride, who know the potentials of these present times. And that's that energy. And Makemake and Salacia have been exactly in the ascendant axis on July the 4th of this year, when Earth was farthest away from the Sun, which, as I pointed out in my research, shows that there are two moments in a year when we can say these are the most predictive moments, and I have many examples. Once I will have time and resources, I will write a book on that, maybe pointing you to my Patreon account, which also is down under this video, a link of, if you like to support me. I mean, if I had the time, I would put so much more energy into what I'm doing here. If you like what I'm doing, I appreciate your support, absolutely. So just want to say, this is an ongoing energy again for many years. Maki and Salasya will have oppositions with one another because they're moving so slow through the whole next decade. And these energies have just for the first time been strongly activated in 2020. They have been slowly building. These are very, very slow background processes, as I said in my earlier video. There's so many ingredients in this magic brew of how we synthesize, bring into realities all these enormous shifts and changes into this new age. And I mean, it's a most remarkable time. I also want to point out that under this third Jupiter-Arrokoth conjunction, again, Jupiter-Arrokoth is that rewriting of all our history, of all our what we thought was true. We have to go over that and revisit it at the least and recalibrate, throw away all which has been misrepresented. It is interesting that the moon at that time was exactly in that Nessus Orcus axis. I speak more about that in my earlier video. So now this same moment in Washington, I mean, it's mind-blowing. This was exactly at the 4th house cusp, the source point of that chart. This is maybe the most powerful place in a astrological chart, the 4th house cusp, similar to the ascendant, midheaven and 7th house cusp. I would say the ascendant and the 4th house cusp are the two most powerful spots. Mercury here with Elatus, I mentioned those two before. That's that ability to express and to put in words and to explain what's going on. Very important, very important. If we can explain, that will help many people who still do not understand the complexity and the many things which are coming together at once. Jupiter and Arrokoth, their last final conjunction, this is actually setting the pace for the next 13-year period. Right at the 4th house cusp, yes, I cannot emphasize this more. This is such a powerful moment, such powerful few days we are in here. And it's, I mean, the momentum is just getting more intense by the moment, by the day. Those of you who are not yet following that, I would advise you to follow the Q drops and listen to these people who are doing such great jobs, decoding them, explaining all the abbreviations and such. So okay, there's a couple more. I don't want to make this too long, but Jupiter and Chariklo had their heliocentric conjunction also on that day, the 17th. Now this is now again as seen from heliocentric perspective, the purely energetic level. Jupiter at 2750 Capricorn from this perspective, Chariklo at 2750 Capricorn. This again is a 13-year cycle which has just been started. You see that the accumulation of restarts and reboots, it's just bang, 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 bang. It's all those seeds planted, and only if you are fully informed of what's going on, you can see the potentials, and you can see, I mean, you as an astrologer particularly, you can see all the wonderful things which are just coming. So Chariklo is a midwife energy. It's Chiron's wife, a centaur. Chariklo is, let me see if I have a few more words here of her. I think I do, just have to see where. Right. Holding sacred space, the ability to witness, a reservoir of compassion, devotion, discernment and presence. So this is really a moment of rebirth which we have just come out of, still in the midst of it. It's a long process. This birth is not happening from one moment to the next. I mean, maybe the most one single event we could say will be November the 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, when Jupiter and Saturn will have their heliocentric conjunction, just followed by what we all know, the presidential elections, which, as I predicted, will be, the results will be known on the night of November the 3rd. Just remember, I said that, I can see that from astrology, there will be no delays. All these efforts, all these attempts to derail the process are going to fail. There will be clear numbers and it will be overwhelming. I predict an 80% win for President Trump, something unprecedented, totally unprecedented. It will take out the wind of the sails of all those who still are on the wrong track. It will be tremendous. It will be just a mind-blowing moment for our global collective consciousness, an affirmation, confirmation that yes, everything is happening exactly as predicted. So just last but not least, I want to go back to the new moon, which also happened on that same day. It was really a turning away from a dark timeline into a much more auspicious one. I guess so many things got just in these short few last days twisted, turned into a way that it's becoming more and more obvious by the day. So anyway, Deucalion, I just want to quickly mention, Deucalion is similar, same character as Noah, who built the ark. Deucalion is all about preparing for new times, getting everything, all the preparations made to be successful once the change truly is here. Orcus again and Nessus, I mentioned that before in that global chart, and if we look final chart here of that video, this is the exact new moon sun moon alignment in Washington 2 days ago, which again, as I say, is a 4-week window which is opening with a new moon. And what we see here, sun moon were exactly in the same spot in the sky exactly after sunrise, minutes after sunrise, 3 minutes roughly after sunrise, 4 minutes. So what is sunrise? Sunrise is a new beginning. How much easier can it be presented by cosmic energies? This is a new beginning. This is truly a dawning of a new time, a new age, and everybody is starting to feel it. Again, Pholus, the north node up here. It is just so amazing, the synchronicity, the alignments, the cosmic alignments are presenting us. So I said it many times, if you had been an astrologer 5,000 years ago, you could have foreseen that whole puzzle to come together in a way. Sure, I mean, nobody has resources and the time to do that, but just for argument's sake, if you would have been in that place 5,000 years ago, you would have been able to pull up all these charts, because that's how predictive, how much on trajectory all these celestial bodies are. Their deviations are so small. I guess the moon over 5,000 years has an uncertainty of 1 degree or something. 5,000 years, just consider that. So it's how a perfect mathematical science astrology is on that level. Okay, I want to stop it here, not to get this too long, and thanks again for joining and listening. I hope I gave you some insights, some enlightening and inspiring energies in this pretty dismal time still. If we I mean, we're still entrenched in all that noise of MK Ultra, I would call it, collective programming. The media are probably the strongest, still active leg of that, and they will be there to the last day. I mean, and this is allowed to happen because it is important for every person in their own free will to come to the conclusion, to come to their own discernment. That is part of this evolutionary process. You are not allowed to kind of enforce truth on anyone. Everyone in their own pace, at their own accord, in their own rhythm, has to come to the conclusion. We can help people, we can present what we know and give logical arguments and guide them to the facts and whatever, which are all out there, but everybody has to come to their own conclusions. That is important. That is a part of the design of this world, of this free will world. It's our own free will which will guide us to where we are meant to go. Thank you again for joining, listening, and again, I invite you to join Celestial Rhythms on my Facebook. Yes, on Facebook, and the link will be underneath. Thanks and have a lovely day.